Peace, family. This is Mr. Holipsism. Welcome to Holipsism's Haven. Today's show is about the marriage license versus the marriage contract. Is your marriage illegitimate unless it is approved by the quote-unquote state? Is a mutually agreeable contract a fake marriage and a state-approved license a real marriage? What is marriage, and what does it mean to be married? Now, this show is based on a overtime conversation that we had on Max 611's show in the paint. I know it's going to be because it's a sports show, but somehow we got into the whole marriage thing, and I think what sparked it was Tiger Woods' wife trying to get $750 million from Tiger Woods based on his infidelity. 750, that would be about if he's worth $1 billion, that would be about 3/4 of his money. And even though we all, both men and women, collectively feel that Tiger Woods is a herb, we started getting into a discussion on, is it really cool, or is it, I guess that's it. Is it really cool that this woman can actually ask for $750 million of this man's money, regardless of infidelity or not? And so we just started, talking about the whole concept of marriage and how, I gave my opinion on how I feel about marriage. My bone of contention with the traditional marriage, or the modern marriage right now, and I've had arguments and discussions and literally breakdowns and fights, not verbal, but not physical, with women over the whole marriage concept. Usually when I say what I say about marriage, they think that I'm, anti-marriage, that I don't want to deal with marriage at all, and that's not really the case. I believe in that concept of a spiritual union. I believe that who you choose for your mate is between you and that person. What I have a problem with is the third-party validation. And I'm not talking about third party in the sense of a witness, because you can have a legally binding contract between two parties, a mutually agreeable contract between two parties, and you can have a witness to co-sign it and say that, this actually happened. You can have the two parties sign it. They can put their thumbprint on it, sign it or whatever, and that's a legally valid contract. My problem is, why should the city, state, and the federal government know who I'm married to? Why is it any of their business to come in and mediate one way or another? You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, even in the event of a dispute, there still is no need for a court. Because I believe if two people can come together and mutually agree that they want to share the rest of their life with each other, because, that's a big deal. That's not like a little trivial thing when you say that you want to share the rest of your life with this individual. If you are mature enough, the both of you, to come together and agree on that, then why can't you be mature enough to dissolve that situation between the both of you amicably? And this is going to bleed into the whole concept of the state in general, and the reason why people want to use the state in the first place, because of the issue of force. People feel that, for some reason, they feel that contracts are not valid unless you have somebody forced into doing something. And I have a problem with that. Ideologically, philosophically, I have a problem with the whole concept of force. If we're supposed to be mature people, and I'm talking about any agreement and not besides the marriage, between two people, you can mediate that without the need for a court. If you can't talk to each other. You can at least get a lawyer, if you want, for lack of a better word, or a representative. Yeah, I'll say a representative. Fuck a lawyer. You can get a representative to work in your behalf. Another person get a representative to work in their behalf, and then y'all can work out the details. You know. But if the ultimate goal is, like in the case of a divorce, that you don't want to deal with each other no more, I don't understand what the big problem is in getting that divorce amicably and, you know, breaking that contract and saying that if at any point one person or the other is not down with this contract anymore, they can opt out. You know what I mean? So that's my issue. It's like I can, and then, you know, like, there are contracts that we have to deal with, that we're forced to deal with. You know, it's like we all know that the so-called tax system is, you know, not supposed to be based on force. It's voluntary. But we all know that that's just window dressing. That's just something that they tell you. That's not for real. Because if you don't pay your taxes or if you don't file, the state will use its force to throw you in jail or take the money from you forcefully. So what happens? Rather than spending the majority of your time in a courtroom fighting and trying to use their laws against them, we just say, you know what, screw it, I'll just pay the money. So we're forced to do it in that sense. If I don't have a driver's license, and the argument can be made legally that I don't need one. But if I make the position that I don't want to get a license and the cops stop me in the streets and I don't have one, I'm going to go to court and I'm going to be fighting for, you know, that right to drive without a license. So it's just the system makes it very difficult. I should say the state makes it very difficult for you to exist without interacting with them in some way, shape, or form. But in those two scenarios, you could arrest me for not paying taxes. You can arrest me for not driving, you know, for driving without a license. Up until this point, and unless I'm wrong, somebody can call in and let me know. You can't arrest me because I didn't let you know who I'm married to. You know, you can't just, I can't be walking down the street with my mate and we made agreement between each other and the cops come and stop me and say, what? You didn't let us know you were married? Okay, you can put the cuffs on. That's not going to happen. So, and the thing that I got some control over, which is who I'm dealing with, who my mate is, who my partner is, fuck the city, fuck the state, and fuck the federal government. That's how I feel. So what I wanted to do was just get opinions from everybody on how they felt about this. You know, I know that it's not usual. You know, the whole concept of a marriage contract, meaning a mutually agreeable contract between two people, versus a marriage license where you get the city and the state and the federal government involved, or the state, you know, mostly the state involved, and you allow them to mediate between the both of you in case of a dispute. What people need to know is contracts are valid and agreements are valid if two people agree to them, sign to them, and have a witness. They're valid. And the only time anybody would have to deal with that in the courts is if there's a dispute and if the two people cannot mutually dissolve the contract and the other person feels that they have to take the contract to the court system so they can force the other person to abide by whatever the resolution is. And to me, we need to stop acting like babies. That's the reason why they have these court shows on all the time. You know, they keep these court shows on 24/7. Why? So it can let you know or train you that you can't deal with your problems on your own. I don't understand personally, if you have a mate and you don't want to be with your mate anymore, in some states, you can't divorce your mate until a year. How does the state tell me that I have to stay with somebody that I don't want to be with? I mean, is it me or is that kind of crazy? And why can't we dissolve our situation and amicably separate from one another? Why? Because we're babies? Because we're not adults? You know, Judge Judy got to do it?